Hi, everybody. I'm Hub Arkush for ChicagoFootball.com, along with Kevin Fishbain and Arthur Arkush. And guys, Super Bowl 50 in the books. It's one of those games that probably raised as many questions as it answered. Let's start with that Denver Bronco defense. Kevin, they were outstanding. Immediately after the game in the post-game interview area, a number of the Broncos players are asking us, you're going to rate us now with the Bears and the Steelers and the Ravens, right? My answer to that is no, not quite. They're a great defense, but I don't think they belong quite in that class.
No, they were outstanding, and to shut down number 2 scoring offense in the league the way they did was outstanding. They are not on the '85 Bears level. I mean, it's just different era, different team. But what they did, and I think people talk so much about Cam Newton, and the Broncos players seem to admit that they knew everyone was talking about Cam all week, and they wanted to remind everyone what they did to the Patriots a couple weeks earlier, what they'd done on their way here, and this was a defensive win for the Super Bowl.
Arthur, I don't know if it's the biggest question, but it's going to be the most talked about. Cam Newton's performance in the game, more than that, his behavior, not just after. I thought his behavior leading up during the week at times was edgy. He showed that guy who you wonder about the sincerity, the genuineness of him. But after the game, he did himself no favors, and now people are going to talk about it all offseason.
And he deserves to be talked about. It was unfortunate. You'd like to see Cam handle himself better. Obviously got up and just left the interview kind of mid-interview. It was unfortunate. At the same time, I can't say I'm totally surprised. This is a guy who was crying after his first regular season game. The Panthers lost. There was 15 more to go his rookie year. He's the ultimate competitor. He's a really pleasant guy when they're winning, I suppose. That's what some people think. But yeah, he's going to have to learn how to handle all the nuances of playing quarterback.
And we are not here to judge Cam Newton, but just to be clear, this was my 38th straight Super Bowl. That post-game interview area was set up exactly the same as it's been set up for the last 10, 20 years. So some players making excuses, oh, well, he had to listen to the other players. That's the way it always is. That was no excuse. Now, the other quarterback, Kevin, Peyton Manning, he didn't answer the question. I think we all know the answer to the question, but he has not yet said that was it, that he's riding off into the sunset with a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, I think one way to look at it, if he didn't want it to necessarily all be on him, especially knowing that he is not the reason they won the game. They won the game in spite of Peyton Manning being a quarterback. They won that game because of the defense and special teams, and you probably didn't want to take a ton of attention away from Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware. I'm sure we'll find out in the coming days that was his final game, and it's an interesting way for him to go out, but what a way for him to go out. This team, everyone pretty much wrote them off a couple months ago, and for them to be Super Bowl champs was pretty remarkable.
One more question, but we're going to ask it about both teams. Can Denver repeat? Are they going to be good? Are they going to be a contender? It's going to be Brock Osweiler, but he's a free agent. We know they're going to franchise Von Miller. They've also got Malik Jackson. They've got other players to worry about on that defense who are free. It should be interesting to see how Denver bounces back next year.
No doubt about it, and as good as the defense is still going to be with that type of personnel, it's hard to just anoint them to the favorites to win another Super Bowl with so much uncertainty under center. It's a small sample size with Brock Osweiler. It was the 2000 Ravens was the last team that switched quarterbacks after winning it all. Kind of ironic because Trent Dilfer was sort of, unspectacular the same way Peyton was in the Super Bowl.
Same question about the Carolina Panthers, Kevin. Now, they're going to get Emilio Silatolo back at offensive guard. They're going to get Kelvin Benjamin back at wide receiver. Probably not going to lose anybody on defense. We assume Josh Norman will either be franchised or get a new deal. Can they contend for another Super Bowl trip next year?
I think they can, and I think what they learned is their needs. Offensive tackle, wide receiver, they need some depth at cornerback. I mean, there's definitely some areas this team can get better at, but you mentioned Kelvin Benjamin coming back. That helps wide receiver immensely. Look, Cam Newton's going to be good for a very long time with that team, and we know that defense is going to be around for a while.
All right, guys, Broncos, very deserving champions of Super Bowl 50. Maybe it's the Panthers with the brighter future. We shall see. For all the best offseason news, coverage, and updates, stay right where you're at ChicagoFootball.com, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.